So I'll be completely honest with y'all. I was not really planning on making a Black Friday video this year, mostly due to the fact that I felt like all the deals that are going to be there, I probably already highlighted. Anytime there's Black Friday, there's really good deals on network switches, especially the 2.5 gig stuff, as well as like 2.5 gig adapters and external hard drives. Those really I felt like were the best bread and butter for Black Friday deals for NAS owners, specifically Synology NAS owners. A lot of times QNAPs and ASUS stores as well as other NAS brands will go on sale, but Synology tends not to. Sometimes Synology will go on sale, but only on BH Photo, but even then it's just one or two. And so I felt like the deals I'd highlighted, people knew about them, they knew to look for them. And then I saw that the Ironwolf Pro 24 terabyte drives that I had just bought about a month ago were on sale, and on sale by genuinely 20% off. These are 20% off of what I paid for them a month ago. And this is both on Amazon as well as BH Photo, so I felt like I had to make a video. This is actually a great deal for hard drives. These are the Ironwolf Pro 24 terabyte drives that I just did a video on. If you want to see that, there's a link for that down in the description below. And you can get them for $400 for a 24 terabyte drive. The rest of the lineup is also on sale, but especially these massive drives, I would not expect to go on sale due to the fact that they pretty much just came out. And so you can get these. I've never seen them actually listed for $650 since they came out, but generally I paid $480 for them, and I felt like that was a good price for them. And they already dropped less than a month later to $400 US. So I felt like I had to make a video, and so this is going to be highlighting a few Amazon deals. I will leave Amazon affiliate links down in the description below. Apparently Amazon is doing it the entire week leading up to Thanksgiving this year. I have no idea, but they have things on here that I did not think would go on sale like this. And so we're gonna go over some useful things to check out if you're looking to buy some NAS gear. And obviously these drives, if you're looking to upgrade your NAS and need more drives, this is a very good time to buy. I do not think you're going to see a price lower than this for quite a while. So definitely check those out. The exact same deal is also on BH Photo. I'll leave a link down in the description below to that as well. And across the board, it looks like NAS drives are actually on sale, which means it's a very good time to buy if that is what you're looking for. Other thing I always try to highlight, and they get cheaper and cheaper, I swear, is your external hard drives. These are awesome because it's a great way of starting to get a really good backup of your NAS. People often hear, oh, you've got to have a 3-2-1 backup solution. Their eyes glaze over and they don't end up backing anything up. And so I think having an external drive plugged into your NAS 24/7 is a great place to start. Obviously, it's not going to help you if your house burns down, but for pretty much everything else, raid crashing or things like that, having that external drive ready to go is so useful. And for $270 US, 20 terabytes is quite a bit. You don't have to back everything up, but really sit down and think about the stuff that you need, those really important files. Make sure those are backed up, and this is a really great place to start. People will often buy 2 of these, keep one at a safety deposit box, and basically swap them back and forth. If you're the type of person to do that, absolutely good on you. For me, I often would forget. I do it twice, and then I'd never do it again. So I try to do everything automated. So definitely check out external drives. These do tend to end up on sale on most like Amazon Prime days and stuff, but this is a good price for them, and I really emphasize that it's a great place to start. I've often said it's the first upgrade you should buy for your NAS, and I believe that is absolutely true. The next upgrade that can help, especially if you're running like a lot of Docker containers or just overall using a lot of the Synology apps that are really taking up a lot of IOPS on your disks and you've got a hard drive pool, is looking at getting a not so expensive SSD for an NVMe SSD cache. Because of the way the caching algorithm works, you don't need the crazy expensive NVMEs because in general, you're not writing bulk data to the drive, but you also really do not want to go in and buy these super cheap NVMe drives. So I like these guys right here. Whenever I'm recommending them for clients, I generally say a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, and I do like the Samsung Evos. I just haven't had any problems with them, or just easy to recommend. Don't go out and just buy these super cheap NVMe drives that might be on sale. This is one of those things you definitely do want to avoid. You will see on here that if I go and search NVMe drives, you will see these insanely cheap drives that I would really recommend avoiding. That's because just because something's NVMe does not mean it's fast. And just because it gives you speeds up to 1 gigabyte per second does not mean it's going to have horrible performance. This is especially true on like laptops. If you're looking to upgrade those drives, you would not believe how often I see a client with a really expensive multi-$1,000 computer with really nice GPU, really nice CPU, and their entire system is just completely shut down because they bought cheap NVMe drives. NVMe drives, and just SSDs in general, and hard drives in general as well, are something that you should buy brands you know in general, because these really cheap ones are generally that cheap because they do not have any kind of DRAM caching. And so everything has to go to disk. And so even though a few tests can give you very fast performance, in general, doing actual things like random reads and writes will be insanely slow. So just warning, just because it's on sale does not mean it's a good idea, and it can completely tank your performance. So stay away from really cheap drives across the board. Same thing with buying refurbished drives. I tend not to recommend doing it. I have seen too many bad situations, and it's just not worth it. Refurbished computers, generally fine. Refurbished drives are often ticking time bombs. Next thing I love, and I've actually got right here, probably going to pick up another one, are these little 2.5 gig USB-C adapters. I spent about $120 on this 10 gig one. Now I think they're like almost $160 for a 10 gig Thunderbolt adapter for my computer. This little 2.5 gig adapter is $20 right now on Black Friday. It gives you pretty much all the benefits of 10 gig for video editors and most people because it gives you fast enough speeds to do the vast majority of things you need to do while not being huge, heavy power draw and annoying to work with. These things can be unstable. You move your laptop a little bit, all of a sudden it disconnects. You've got to reconnect all your drives. I really like these 2.5 gig adapters for anybody on a laptop. They work great. I've just never had any trouble with them, and they are dirt cheap. So you can pick up a few of them and just have them on there. Definitely something to look at and grab, because I've just kind of stopped recommending the 10 gig adapters unless you're somebody who really has a real workflow for needing past 300 megabytes per second speeds. And even then, you really have to make sure you're not going to get one that overheats or other things like that. So definitely check those out. And the other thing that's just been crazy is the fact that we now have like 2.5 gig switches that are dirt cheap, $36 with two 10 gig SFP Plus ports too. For a very long time, I was not recommending no-name brand switches, and then there just never were any issues. So I have been recommending them to a lot of people because honestly, they're really cheap, and I've not had massive issues with any of them thus far. And they're cheap enough where if you do run into an issue, they're not that expensive to replace. 2.5 gig switches have really come down, and I think these are just a great place to start. I've talked about it on the channel before, but the 10 gigabit standard, when it was first designed, really draws too much power and is too difficult to make computationally. That is why they back created the 2.5 and 5 gig standards, which are much lower power draw and use much less computationally intense algorithms to transmit the data. So because that 10 gigabit, all that equipment, it's still so expensive, even years and years later, whereas 2.5 gig and 5 gig stuff has come down a ton in pricing. And that's why you get a tiny little dongle like this that works great versus a massive heatsink required for 10 gigabit equipment just like this. So if you haven't already, really take a look at and see if your workflow can do 2.5 gig, because you're going to save a ton of money and, in my experience, have a lot fewer headaches. All right, well, I will be leaving affiliate links down to all these things down in the description below. Let me know if you see anything else that's useful, because they are constantly updating and changing these throughout the week. All right, well, that's going to be it for this. Have a good one. Bye.